Vitamin D is such a vitamin, such a hormone, such a drug that if you had asked me my opinion 10 years ago, I would have called it the orphan vitamin. But if you ask me my opinion now, I can speak a bit differently. Why? Because as the awareness of vitamin D started to increase, the amount of supplements people took also began to rise. People started using vitamin D in very high doses. In fact, for some reason, there is a belief among the public like this. 1,000 units per 10 kilograms. If a person weighs 80 kilograms, they feel compelled to take 8,000 units. But this is not the right dose for everyone. In other words, when vitamin D is consumed at high levels, it is not a molecule that continues to protect the body. Vitamin D is a drug. It is not a supplement. It is a hormone and it is necessary for our bodies. As a doctor who cares about vitamin D, I have previously made many videos about vitamin D. I said that we have to take vitamin D supplements because we cannot produce enough vitamin D from the sun. We do not sunbathe during the midday heat. Our sun exposure is not very high. We cannot produce vitamin D just by walking outdoors a little. That's why we need to get it from external sources. But the guidelines are clear on this matter. If you want to use vitamin D continuously, our daily upper dose limit is 4,000 units. Rarely, under a doctor's supervision, we can go up to 8,000 units. But this is not a continuous dose. There is no safety study for maintenance doses above 4,000 units. In other words, when you take vitamin D in very high amounts, you are left to deal with side effects. In fact, in one study, it was found that even individuals who consumed just 2,000 units of vitamin D daily without any measurements had a reduced risk of telomere shortening. So, even if you do nothing else, even without any measurements, taking 2,000 units of vitamin D daily could be sufficient for many people. Taking very high amounts of vitamin D brings side effects along with it. Kidney stones, vascular calcification, and arrhythmia are among the main risks. When vitamin D reaches very high levels, instead of protecting the bones, it can actually weaken them. Okay, doctor, we understand. There's no need to raise vitamin D to very high levels. I need to use vitamin D continuously. Yes. How much should I take? According to studies, for individuals under 70 years old, this amount is 1,000 units, and for those over 70, since deficiency is more common, it is 2,000 units. I want to use vitamin D continuously without doing anything else. What is the maximum amount I can take? If you ask this, the amount is 4,000 units. In fact, most people don't even need to go up to 4,000 units. Only during the initial deficiency treatment can higher doses be used. You can take 40,000 or 50,000 units of vitamin D per week, but you may not need to take such high amounts continuously. That's why doctor supervision is essential. But if you're monitoring it, there's no problem. Doctor, I'm already monitoring it. I'm taking this many units. I'm getting my levels checked. It comes out between 40 and 80. In that case, you can continue. But if we can't monitor it, we need to avoid the risks of high doses of vitamin D. In summary, vitamin D is very important. We have to take supplements, but there's no need to take very high amounts of vitamin D without supervision. Most of the posts you see on social media are unfortunately incorrect. And unfortunately, when vitamin D levels get very high, it doesn't protect your immune system any better. And unfortunately, we have patients who develop arteriosclerosis, hypertension, and arrhythmias due to high vitamin D levels.